You may have seen some clips on social media where I play a magical character called the Resistance Fairy Godmother, or according to some of my commenters, the Resistance Fairy Gothmother. Either one is acceptable. It, quite frankly, has been my favorite character I've played this year. And I've teamed up doing those funny skits, trying to bring a little joy and a little truth into social media with the Cluck Hut. Now, if you're not familiar with the Cluck Hut, you're welcome. Please go look at them now before we continue the rest of this interview. I have Trevor Silva with me today, and we're going to talk about his work at the Cluck Hut, how this all got started, his path into resisting fascism, and hopefully bring a little bit of joy into your ears today on Flipping Tables. Now, before we get started, I do want to make a couple short announcements. One is that if you are in Tennessee, we are currently having the election for District 7. Go out and vote for Afton Bain. Let's flip the seat blue. As of this recording, this is the day after the 8 Democrats folded and basically sold our healthcare to cater to the Republicans. So now more than ever, we not only need to flip these red districts blue, but we need to get rid of the old guard Democrats and get them the fuck out of there. And my second announcement is come to DC this weekend. Trevor and I are going to be there for the Remove the Regime rally. There's going to be a bunch of your favorite influencers, reporters, independent journalists are all coming together because we are tired of the Democrats doing nothing. And we are there to try to create some movement and some real change, because especially for people, if you fall into millennials and the Gen Z category, we can't be angry about not being represented if we're not representing ourselves. What day are you getting there, Trevor?
I'll be getting there on the 18th.
Okay, so the day before this episode comes out, I will be getting there the day this episode comes out.
And
so
Jennifer's joining me. Jennifer will be there as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, Trevor, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for, we finally did it. We've been talking about this for like 2 months. And thank you for the work that you do and the levity that you bring. Because, and I mean, I even came in here today just like, man, I am so bummed out about what's happening. But like, the only option is forward. You know, you can't stop.
Yeah. And remember, I feel the same. I wake up and I want to throw things, and I do my crying as well. We're on the same page here.
And it's me. It's like, I'm going to go cry so that I don't go to jail.
Yeah. No, it's honestly the reason that I create the content the way I do is because I see the same content everyone else does that's in our kind of vein of algorithm that's built their For You page with kind, accepting, loving, good humans. We're all flipping out a little, and rightfully so. It's righteous anger because it's inhumane things happening. I see the same thing, and I found that my superpower is the thing that got me in trouble most as a kid. It's the oppositional defiance disorder. It's the demand avoidance that comes with the ADHD.
ADHD unite.
Because of that, when they tell me to be angry, oh, girl, don't tell me what to do. When they tell me, I want to go the other way with it. So when I write our content, I see all this, and sarcasm is not only my defense mechanism, but my love language.
I've never felt more seen. Can we put that on a t-shirt? Oh sarcasm is my love language.
It's how I keep from throwing things and losing my damn mind. And the reason I named Cluck Hut my Cluck Hut, I named it my Cluck Hut because when anyone says it, it's theirs as well. And I wanted to create something where I know, it's overwhelming, especially right now it's overwhelming, but trying to create actionable change is a lot. And it started actually during the pandemic when I started conceptualizing this, and it was little things like making sustainable choices. I can make sustainable choices all day, and it feels like a drop in the bucket. I can recycle this one thing, and it feels like a drop in the bucket. But what if we did it together? What if millions of drops came together? And the whole concept of the company was to build a community, build a revolution of people that could see that we could build something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
And looking at how the billionaires run the world, they don't want us to see it that way. They want to control everything. They want us to spend our money because to them, they buy out businesses. That's why when we started, I made a pledge. I was like, I will never sell this business. I'm not trying to build something that we then sell to somebody who gets to just take it and hoard more wealth like a damn dragon.
Yep.
I wanted to really build exactly what we've built. No venture capital, sustainable, but I also understand that there's no way at this point in an unfettered capitalist society that we will take down big business head on. They destroy us.
Yep.
They'll destroy any small business that they want. But what we can do is affect their bottom line.
Yeah.
So my concept has been, what if we can convince, inspire millions of people soap is a vehicle. Soap is amazing. Our product's incredible. We're nerdy. We make amazing products. But it is a vehicle. It's a vehicle to actually create actionable change. And when we convince enough people, we build a community that believes in the revolution. And we were saying welcome to the revolution long before this year. It just kind of changed from a super focused on sustainability and eco-friendliness and whatnot to, oh my God, we're fighting fascists.
Yeah.
However,
like actual fascists.
That happened. But the goal really always was to build something bigger than myself, that you could be a part of something bigger than yourself. And if we can build something big enough that we affect the bottom line of big business, we force them to change, not because they want to, because their board looks and goes, we're losing money. To who? This company over here. Why? Because they're paying a living wage and they're making sustainable practices and they're doing this and that. Well, then we have to change and we have to do that. Cool.
Yeah. Because ultimately the bottom line is all that matters to a lot of these corporations. And so I really want to dive in.
We dove in quick. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. I really want to dive into like the timeline of My Cluck Hut. But first I would love, because people see and again, if you haven't seen My Cluck Hut's Instagram, the sketches are so hilarious. It's just wonderful. And the soap's amazing. But I would love like to tell people like about you.
Yeah.
Like, how did you grow up? How did you kind of even get to the point that My Cluck Hut becomes an idea? Give us a little background.
Yeah. So, being ADHD, of course, a life full of hyperfocuses. But the one thing that had always remained a solid with me since the time I was 3 was that I learned how to play drums. I was a musician. I played other things, but I was a bassoonist in high school and college. Actually had a full scholarship to a couple major universities, Juilliard included, but I lost them because I got TMJ and I couldn't play anymore. Anyways, I went through this whole convoluted story of like, I went off and then I ended up going to this small school and I ended up getting married. I got drug into the church. I actually got drug into the church because of a small non-denominational church that somebody came to my job. I was working in high school in the middle of the night as a diner cook, and he invited me to his church. They needed a drummer. I played drums. Like, oh, yay, there's a place to play. Well, they got their hooks in me. And I ended up there. And then when I lost that scholarship, I ended up going to a small Christian college in Southwestern Virginia, which I know you went Liberty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bluefield College. Yep. And I ended up getting to the Baptist Student Union, I did worship for that. And then I met my ex-wife and the whole waiting for marriage thing. And we got married and I became a full-time youth pastor. And I just got really into it. And I think what caught me, because I was raised Catholic and I got out of the Catholic Church. I did confirmation. I did what my grandparents asked of me from my dad's side, Portuguese Catholics. And then I was able to leave and I just took myself right back into it. And somebody got their claws back at me. And so I went to school and I did this. And then when I was, I got fired from that church I was working at as a youth pastor and he told me 6 months after he fired me, he let me know, he said, the reason he fired me, he was jealous that I had taken the youth group from 1 or 2 kids to 150 kids every Wednesday, and we had a bigger service than his service was on Wednesdays. And I was honestly like, how could I be mad? Like,
I'm just not even shocked by that. No. Not even a little bit.
But you know what I realized was like, I was in it because I always dug the words in red. To me, that to me made sense. And I've read those words in so many other religions, but that to me made sense. That guy I get. Yep. And I was like, okay, this I'm about. And then I started learning more about the church and whatnot. I was like, oh, this I'm not.
Thank you.
When my ex-wife one night randomly, I had dropped out of school to help her get through. She actually one night just goes, I miss my parents. I want to go home. I want a divorce. And I'm in West Virginia at this point with her, trying to get her through school. She's about to graduate in like 2 months. And all of a sudden, here I am, like, what am I doing? I'm 23, whatnot. And I just, no idea.
Where did her parents live?
Northern Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just here, like, what am I doing?
So that's not even, what? You were 1 state away? And
Virginia's 5 states, remember that.
Oh, that's true.
All
that's
in one,
real.
except for this last election, which it all went blue. But no, down in southwestern Virginia, into the West Virginia area down there.
Okay.
And so I was living just over the border in Princeton. Anyway, so long story short, I'm like, what am I doing? And a buddy of mine who I had been in a band with in college, a Christian rock band, but he moved to Nashville to be a songwriter. And he was like, why don't you come down? And it turned out my cousin, Bethany Dick is her name. She was playing with Jars of Clay at the time.
Wow, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah. Her husband actually he's with Family Force 5. That was his band. They're still around. But anyway, but she was playing with Sarah Evans, who she was touring with as well. And so she had a place. I moved in. I came down. I did to do the drum thing, And as I was here and I was getting around more, charismatic, eclectic, leftist, liberal thinking people again, I started getting the claws out of me. And I did like you. What do you call it when you
Deconstruction.
Deconstruction, yes. And so I did as I started getting in and playing music. And my dream was to tour, to play music for a living. But after doing that for 16 years, the dream became a nightmare.
Yeah. That's a tough life.
It is, and I think for me, it was starting, I found the woman that I'm married to now, Jennifer, from the videos, Dr. Jennifer. I'm actually a doctor by marriage because of her, but idiot by birth. But she, can't help that.
Jennifer would love that.
I mean, I'll tell you what, if you're going to be a part of the patriarchy, make the good rules. She did the work for the PhD. I told him we got married. I was like, keep your last name. That's dumb. Keep your last name, but I'm taking the PhD. That's just, we're doing this. That's fair, right?
It's fair. Fair's fair.
So she, I met her and we've been together about 16 years now. And I found myself going on the road and spending all this time out there. But the person I actually wanted to spend time with is back at home. Yeah. And I'm out here playing other people's music that I don't necessarily even care for, but I'm out here doing it every night. And it turned into a day job I had to be gone 24/7 to do.
Yep.
And so it just got to the point where I looked at her one day. I just said, I'm done. It was 3 a.m. I was about to leave for a bus call. I had my drums packed. And I was head in my hands and she goes, what's wrong? I was like, I hate it. I hate it so much. I don't want to go. And so she's like, well, when you get back, let's talk. It was a weekend out. And so I came back and we talked and she was just like, if you hate it that much, come home. And so my wife, we own our house. She makes enough that it was like, okay, we can live frugally, just come home. Let's figure out what you're going to do next. I tried to do the Broadway thing full time.
Rough. Rough. I did that for 4.5 years.
Hell no. It ate my soul.
Yeah.
It just ate my soul. And I just, I built a studio at the house and I started doing sync licensing and I was getting songs in TV and, film and stuff. And then I realized I just made a lateral move. It wasn't original. I was making music that sounded like other music.
Yep. You're making jingles for certain things and just mimicking things.
Right.
Yep.
And so when the pandemic hit, we got there fast. I skipped a lot of things that happened, a lot of crazy stuff. But when the pandemic started, I started watching it in February and I was seeing what was happening. And I'm like, okay, understanding how science works and viruses work. And it's like, this is a problem. This could be a problem. We don't know what it is yet. Mm-hmm. And so when I was kind of preparing us mentally and Jennifer and like, hey, we might have to be home for a bit or whatever. And so when March came around, we were prepared. We'd actually got an above ground pool because of course we did.
Because why not?
We're going to be stuck at home. We might as well be trash. Not to say having an in-ground pool is trash. We are just trash with an in-ground pool. But we got that. And Jennifer had been asking for years to get chickens. And once I finally convinced her that she had to walk them and feed them and she could get them. But I knew that there was going to be, I was like, there's no mornings where it's sleeting and it's 5 degrees and you go, honey, can you go let the chickens out? And then of course that happened. And so now I built them a freaking, oh my God, 5-star resort. They have automatic doors and everything. For me, not for them. Amazing. To make sure that they could just take care of themselves. Anyways, so we got these chickens and we're stuck at home and the white wine out of the box, well, screw the box, out of the bladder in the white above ground pool and just kind of low key depression. I got really depressed right away when it started. My mind started going to people that were in abusive relationships, children that were being stuck at home and not being able, being in the situations with that stress added to it. And I started getting really just depressed about everything. But most of all, my brain always wants to go to problem solving. How can we fix? How can we do better? And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is it. We've been so divided as a country, but there's this unknown virus, a common enemy. As people, we're going to say, okay, what can we do to protect ourselves? Well, obviously, we're all going to wear masks. We're going to do what we need to do to stay home. We're going to do what we can to protect each other. And so we did the exact opposite. Mm-hmm. And
especially in the South.
Oh my God. And it was just such a bummer. And not even the opposite, bullying people who were trying to do what was felt to be the right thing. And so I started getting really down and drinking a lot and I'm also in this place in my life where I had gone from knowing what I was going to do with my life. I played drums since I was 3. This is what I was great at. I'm 36 or 7 at the time. I'm like, what do I do when I
like,
grow
what
up?
do I do now? Yeah.
You know? And so it was about the time Jennifer, so as an escape from virtual meetings, she tried paint by numbers. I've never seen someone fail at paint by numbers. That was not her thing. Very analytical brain. And so she decided like to use her chemistry and to create an eco-friendly, sustainable, and because of me, sensory-friendly soap formula. And so, great. I started really, really hyper-focusing on my alcoholism and just really digging in and low-key depression that everyone's, fucking horrible.
Yeah.
And this really came to a head when George Floyd was murdered. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching this footage and he's crying out for his mom and I'm bawling and I'm just like, this is the moment. This is where we come together and we go, that's wrong. That was a human life. They shouldn't have been murdered. And it all the feelings.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is when we come together. This is when we unite and we all say, that's not acceptable. That's not okay. And then we didn't.
Yeah.
And it really was a rock.
People push back harder.
It was a rock bottom. It was a rock bottom for me. Just as an empath, as an intuitive empath, that I honestly, and I don't say this lightly, I looked at Jennifer and I go, it's either blow my brains out or change the world. I mean, I fucking hate it here. And she just looked at me and she's like, why don't we go with the latter?
It's like, maybe not the first one. Let's not do that.
Fair.
It's like,
but I mean, that's where I was. I didn't want to be here. But I also realized that, I kind of had to, and I don't know how to say this in a nice way, but I had to give up hope to create hope, to find hope, because relying on others for it was detrimental.
Yep. Like relying on people to do the right thing or respond in a humane way. And it has progressively gotten worse. And I mean, I was, that first thought I had, so I was in New York City when COVID hit. So my personal training business, which is closing today, which is crazy, because I'm doing this full time. But
and congrats and new seasons.
What is it? Congratulances.
Yeah, that's the one.
But my first thought, because I was in a really great house, like I loved my roommates, but my first thought was, oh my God, like women are stuck with their abusive partners. And then they talked about like how end of 2020 going into 2021, especially like in London, was a big city where they just started finding bodies of all these women. That like had gone missing. Their families didn't hear from them, but everybody was locked away. So nobody finds them until 3 weeks after they've been killed. And that was my first thing. I remember just having this knot in my stomach of just like, oh no, like, and then children that are in abusive situations. And you expect there to be a moment where people are like, let's put aside our differences and help. And so many people just did not. And I'm going to say it right now. What pisses me off about the people that are like, I'm not going to wear a mask. I can't breathe. Have no issue dressing up like ICE agents with masks on. Oh, masks weren't the problem, you little bitch. Sorry. I had to get that off myself. I had to get it off my chest.
On point.
No, makes me so mad.
It's true. And that's really, and being able to see through all of their bullshit and see through all the lies and see through all their pearl clutching over this, but not over that. And it's just like, guys, it's being in an abusive relationship with someone that is transparent to the point where they're gaslighting you. They know they're gaslighting you. You look at them and you're like, you're gaslighting me. And then they keep gaslighting you. It's like fascinating.
Like you just created an alternate universe. But I hear you so much in the like, and honestly, I've kind of been feeling this way today of like, I feel so hopeless in a way, but it also motivates me to be like,
create hope.
I have to manufacture it. I can't wait until someone creates hope for me.
Yeah. So that brings us full circle to why my cluck hut. First of all, yes, the alcohol
inspired by the chickens
and bad chicken jokes. Yeah, honestly, I had to laugh. It was the same thing. It's like if I didn't laugh, I would cry and throw things, which I also did. But I had to laugh. And so, we had Egg Ryan and we had Hennifer Lawrence, the store of the Hunger Games.
Oh my God, Egg Ryan.
And Roberta Eggford and Kevin Bacon and Eggs, Amelia Egghart, like Agatha Christie. We had all these freaking, amazing chicken names. And I was just, all this dumb jokes. We called our pen the Cluck Hut because it's the fuck hut, but chickens.
Yeah.
And so it all started with these dumb chicken jokes, but it really, Jennifer had this soap she was making, and it really just became a vehicle. I thought it'd be funny to have my cluckin' soap bar, like my fucking, and you could say anything is fucking because it's cluckin' and people know what you're saying. So I wanted to create this language first of all, but I wanted to have a cock line for a traditionally masculine, but then of course I wanted all of our boxes to have pronouns on them, and I wanted to make sure everyone felt we have a non-binary line, Yeah. Anyway, so there's their exfoliants. There's all these dumb jokes, but really that was just because everyone needed a laugh.
Yeah.
But what it came down to was I realized that, I want all this change in the world. I want to see a people before profit world. I want to see a diverse world. I want to see an eco-friendly world and a sustainable world. But like we would wait around for someone to do it.
Yeah.
No, it's like, screw it. Let's do it. And so from the beginning, it was mission oriented. It was, I know as a white man in America that I have a voice a lot of people don't. I can get a seat at a table a lot of people can't. I have never craved money or power. And I personally, people are like, oh, what's your pronouns? Like, well, I present he, him, but mentally it's she, her. I really think the future's female. I'm like, I hate the patriarchy too.
Yeah.
I'm over it. And so I was like, well, I guess I've got a Trojan horse this shit. I've got to build something where I can build a giant middle finger to this unfettered capitalistic hellscape. And why not do it today? It just started like,
why not start?
Let's just do it. And so that began the journey of never taking venture capital and never selling our soul to really build it the right way where people could believe in what they were a part of and have an awesome product. But that is, again, that is the vehicle to create something that I could create hope. And, things like this year we were honored to be chosen, selected, awarded the Allied Business of the Year from the Tennessee Pride Chamber for all of Tennessee.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's an award I wish didn't have to exist. It shouldn't have to exist. Just be a good human. But the fact that it does, like that to me is like, I don't care about any other award. Just to have people see us as a safe place. Yeah. And knowing that, this is the community that we're building. This is the idea we're building. And it all started from that moment of just having enough. I had enough.
Yeah. And one of the things too, like I think about, you talk about sustainable business and doing things the right way and giving back to the community is that we are the wealthiest nation in the world. And there's no excuse that all of our systems can't be run that way except for the greed of people who just want a little bit more.
Well, and remember this, this is what I had the realization of. The fact that I've never cared about money or power. The reason I don't is I don't have a void in my life to fill that I'm trying to fill with anything else but actually introspection and looking inward. But you look at billionaires exist because they'll never fill it.
Yep.
They hoard. They hoard and hoard trying to fill a void that will never be filled. Yep. And I don't have that void. I've never cared about that part of it. So I felt like, oh crap, I guess I'm the one that has to go get it because I actually don't care. I actually want to redistribute. I want to pay a living wage. I want to build a band. And that was my goal. I was always a hired gun, but I always had that band mentality. Yep. So when I built the company, I brought in the goats at what they did. I made them owners. I know I could do just about anything because if I hyper-focus, I can learn it, but that's not the way to build something big. Yeah. Build something big by bringing the people that do what they do well and replace myself at every level.
It's like being in a band and be like, hire the guy who's played guitar since he was 7. Yeah. Don't try to fake it yourself.
Don't put the guitar player on bass because, it's like, oh, I played bass once. Okay, I'll get over there.
Yeah, get over there. It doesn't work.
Get the best. And the cool part about that is it can alter the sound, which is cool. And it becomes a jam. And it's like, okay, what do you bring to the table? And how does this change how we look, how we sound? And I love that, but now it's all under the vision of this revolution of reorganizing how we see the world and taking away this, the capitalist system is you need more, you need more, get more. We have to show profit. We have to show profit. From the beginning, I built this business on a trajectory like this to build a foundation 100 times wider than the building ever is tall. Yep. We can talk about all the shit that has gone wrong in the past in business and the world. But the thing is, there's always been better angels fighting for a better future. And I figured, why not build, it starts with this company, but I want to be able to bring in other businesses that share an ideology before they have to sell their soul for investments and capital and help them build too. What if we can build the future with these better angels that we want to live in to the point where we create our own reality? You can have yours. We're going to create our own over here.
Yep. We're going to build our own network of people who want to make the world better and respect people. And I mean, I met you in real life at Pride. Yeah. And it was right after I had it out with that preacher and I was in my Barbie costume and I had glitter all over me. It was hilarious. Because I just don't understand, even on a base, because I'm a very analytical person. I'm a very data-centered person. Mm-hmm. And so I was thinking about this morning because, I mean, the first thing I got from you was your, trans rights, Cluck Hut
the
shirt.
Trans Lives Cluck and Matter.
And it was just like, it was just awesome to have and to see, because I can't wrap my mind around the hate and the vitriol being directed at 1% of the population that is not taking your income. They're not exploiting you. Like, be mad at the top 1% who control 37% of the economy. Sorry, 31% of the economy. Be mad at them. Those are the people exploiting you, not trans people who have every right to choose how they exist. Because the absolute asinine comments of people that are like, I believe in small government, but don't believe someone can choose to express their gender how they want to, or be a consenting adult in a relationship with another person, is just, it's not logical. It doesn't make any sense. And if you're using religion to justify that, then if the only reason you're wanting to make these laws is your religion, you're violating the religious freedom of others. And it just doesn't rationally make sense to me. And it was so refreshing to see you, like, you're a like straight presenting, like white male, Jen, straight, white, presenting female. So like this very like heteronormative couple just being so upfront and so loving, and watching people light up when they see you two, because they know that you're safe.
Yeah.
And like, I realized I was bi at 31. And so, and thankfully I had deconstructed enough to where I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then I just moved on. Like it just didn't even faze me. But I also, because of being the kind of person I am, I never had to experience a lack of safety.
Sure.
Right? Like people have done with their families, or people who are in different situations. And so it's just, I don't understand why we can't just love each other. I really, truly don't.
Trying to understand it, though, is the problem is the people that are that angry don't love themselves. Yeah. They have struggled with something that, because of cultural norms where they're from, have caused them to repress these things that could be their freedom, whether it's being closeted and they want to be free, all this stuff. And of course, there's sociopaths and there's narcissists and that, but there are people that they've had to repress this because of cultural norms and family and whatnot.
Well, and they're afraid if they talk about it, or if they accept it, or if they come out, then they'll lose their whole community.
But you know what Trump did? You know what these people do is they come along and they give them an enemy outside of themselves. And that's what they've done. It's like, you're okay. The fault is of this. Yeah. It's easy then to take any kind of blame from yourself. That's what we want to do. It's the easier route than to work on oneself. It's so much easier
to be angry and scapegoat than to look inside and say, why am I so angry?
Right.
Why am I lashing out?
We're never going to actually explain anything. We're never going to figure it out because of the fact that it's already figured out. It is them hating themselves. And I hate this phrase. I used to use it a lot. Hurt people. And I don't like it anymore, because I started thinking about it. I was like, no, fuck that. I've been hurt and I don't hurt people.
Yep.
You've been hurt and you're not hurting people. So I think hurt people have a choice.
Yep.
To deal with it.
I think miserable people hurt people is probably the more accurate, because no one who is happy with their life and what they're doing and has joy and is happy in their relationship, like, you don't go out hating on other people.
They don't want to see someone else happy either.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
That's frustrating to them.
That makes them
so
mad when they see you and you're happy. And you see this across the spectrum, because like my nose ring, my nails, my fashion, whatever it is, and I will have men and women just eviscerating my looks, and the only thing I can come up with is, you are so uncomfortable with the fact that I'm fully expressing myself and loving it, and you don't feel comfortable doing the same, that you are fixated on my jewelry and my clothes because you can't handle it.
Yeah.
And the inverse of that is, like, I talked this grandma into buying this purple pair of boots because she really liked them. I was like, these look great. They're amazing.
Right.
And like giving people permission to express themselves in that way. And it's just been really frustrating to, like, especially in the recent months, and especially even with ICE raids, and like, they're blaming immigrants, or they're blaming trans people, or it's blame. And I'm like, dude, do you not see the motherfuckers picking your pocket right now?
See what you did there? Not see.
See?
Such you did. Yeah, no, but that's exactly it. That's why that certain type is attracted to authoritarian. But it's the same as in the church. It's the man on a horse. It is easier to have someone say to you, okay, first of all, you don't know what happens when you die, but I do. Yep. And let me tell you, since I know what happens, you can't possibly, but if you trust me, don't ask questions. That's called faith.
Yep.
But I'm going to tell you that after you die, you get to go to heaven. And it's like,
if you do what I say.
If you do what I say, you get to go to heaven. Well, while we watch billionaires actually live in their own personal heavens here. But no, you got to wait till after you're dead. But But no, it's just, that's that man and a horse. That is that, trust me, it's easier that way. Don't ask questions. All he did was tapped into that. He just tapped into those people. And I've always, I try to remind myself that, hate and anger, those emotions, they need opposition to exist.
Yeah.
But joy and love don't. They need us more than we need them. They want everyone to be miserable because they are. Misery loves company. If we remember that, they will always show their hand. Every comment where they're belittling, they're doing their best to make you less, it's because they wish they could be more.
Yeah.
And I think we have to stop allowing them to take us to their level. And that's where I've kind of stepped in with our social media, our content, we'll come back and we'll get at the trolls a little bit here and there, but I don't waste a ton of time on them. But the thing is, they want everyone to be as miserable as they are. And I think the best thing we can do is rub joy in their face.
Yeah.
Is be joyful. Is not, and that's why I say, like, my demand avoidance and my obedience defiance or oppositional defiance disorder comes in. They want that. I'm not going to go to your level. I'm not going to go down, because down at that level, you're in the muck and the mire. They can win down there.
Yep.
Nah,
it's like being in a pigsty. It's like, I don't want to be down there with you.
You don't get to take my joy. The second you take my joy, they win.
Yep.
And I will not do that. And there's enough content of people showing the awful that's happening. And every other video is an ice raid and a grandmother being tackled to the ground. And there's enough horrible. That's why with our content, I try to bring a different approach where, yes, that is horrible, but here's what I've learned is that bullies, people like this, the only thing that they've ever had, the only respect they've ever had is gained through fear in their whole life. What if we take that fear away? What if we change the framework of how we view them? Now, not to say they won't do serious things. They'll do horrible things, but they're unserious people.
Yeah.
So we change the narrative. We mock. There's this book called, I read it if you haven't got the chance. It's called Autocrats versus Pranksters, I believe. Or Pranksters versus Autocrats, Autokratz, I believe. But it is all about, throughout modern, well, a little more back than modern, but written history, about societies who've brought down authoritarian regimes, tyrants, using mocking, belittling, humor, lose-lose situations, stuff like that. And I've been doing this, and then somebody recommended this book, and I'm like, holy shit, this is what I do.
This is what I do. Well, and it makes me think of like Stephen King's It, where the way that you defeated this supernatural, terrifying bully was laughing at it.
Yep.
And just being like, you are so tragic and pathetic.
Yeah.
You're so busy trying to make me feel afraid because you are terrified.
Yep.
And that I always think of, and like also trying, like, I'll respond to trolls, especially if it addresses like a common like mythical belief, or if it's like a weaponization of the Bible in particular. But for me, it's really about, how do I like open a door to like give people permission to ask questions, to be curious. Because one of the things I think—
Good faith questions.
Yeah. I think the biggest flaw, in my opinion, about organized religion is what you said, where people outsource their faith about their own eternity, their own faith, what's right and wrong, to another person, another fallible human being who is often exploiting you for money. And instead of being able to honor their own intuition, honor their conscience, ask questions, because you can't ask questions, they end up in this cycle. And it's a very kind of cult-like programming. It's very akin to communist brainwashing, actually. And so then what happens is, when they get out of that system, it's easy for them to fall into systems that are like it, which is why I think, a lot of evangelical people, white evangelicals, really truly believe they're doing the right thing. Yeah. They truly believe that these are the morals I have to vote on because I'm a Christian, because this is what they've been told since they were young.
Right.
And it makes them so much more susceptible to waking up one day and realizing, wow, he is on the Epstein files. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? Why is this so hateful? Hey, I will say, I have people on my page and coming into my Patreon being like, I've walked away, my eyes are open. Good. Where can I learn? How can I help?
Good.
Because I do truly believe that there are a lot of them who are brainwashed and afraid. And there's some obviously that are hateful and just reveling in all of this, obviously. But I think that many aren't. But you can't convince someone they're brainwashed. There has to be a moment where they realize it for themselves.
Absolutely.
And I realized mine reading the Book of Mormon.
Really?
So when I was starting to question church history and I wanted to know more, I had studied theology forever, but theology is like studying, especially the Bible, under a pre-existing religious framework. So I'm studying the Bible with the intention to prove and solidify my faith, versus studying all of the information to say what's true.
Mhm.
So when I was starting to be a little more curious, I read the Quran, I was reading the Book of Mormon, and I had read up on Smith, and I was like, this guy is so clearly a con man. Like,
Right.
what? And I'm reading the Book of Mormon and the history alongside it, and I'm like, people can't possibly believe this. And the zinger thought, the first thing that like flew into my ear was, this is how people feel when they read Jonah for the first time, if they didn't grow up in church. And I was like, oh, audible gas. Like it was just this light bulb moment of, wait a minute.
A guy in a whale for 3 days.
I was like, wait a minute. What if? And then it really becomes, I ask the people that attend my Bible studies all the time, can you sit with the question? You don't have to agree with me. In fact, it's fine if you don't. Can you sit with the question? So the question I had to sit with was, well, what if some of this is myth?
Right.
Right? Because I had been told that the Bible was 100% accurate, 100% literal,
Inspired,
100% inspired by God.
Yeah.
And it was written with one voice, even though it was written over the course of 2,000 years.
Right.
And when I started to like poke at that a little bit, obviously it crumbles because there's poetry and there's so many genres. There's fictional novellas, there's myths, there's poems. But it starts with the one question. And when you're in those systems so deeply, it has to drop in on you on your own.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what's hard.
Yeah.
But I think that your humor is like so disarming for people. Like as far as like it being, again, you're not making it, they want to believe that you're an enemy. They want to believe, oh, they're going to attack me. They're going to blah, 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 blah. And then you come with jokes and it's really disarming for them. And just to be like, wait, what? Yeah. What do you mean they're having fun with this?
They want us to be angry.
That's not correct.
Yeah, that's not correct. They want us to be angry. And in the comment section, they want us to be angry. And I guess they're like, well, you're bullying. It's like, you know what? Here's the thing. They could choose not to be horrible. They could choose, like things I'm making fun of are things that are shitty things that people shouldn't do. And that's why the tagline that we've come to use is that if you use soap and don't suck at being a person, we might be for you. Like it's such a simple thing. Like
just be nice, dude.
You got offended by that? Then what are you telling me? If you got offended by that, then do you suck? Oh, it feels like that's on you.
It's like whenever, you see a video of a woman like addressing like some version of male behavior or abuse statistics or sexual assault, whatever it is, because these are male-dominated problems. Like sexual abuse globally is 97% male perpetrators. Like that is a man problem.
Right.
But then you get all, not all men. People just flying off the handle. I'm like, dude, if this does not apply to you, it shouldn't bother you. So the fact that it bothers you so much that you are now
in a stranger's comment section,
calling
people names.
Well, yeah, and also calling people names and like giving rape and death threats, proving the point, tells me why this bothers you.
Yeah.
And so when you started like the Cluck Hut, what were some of your like commitments to yourself about what it meant to run a business the right way? Like you talk about sustainability and venture capital, but what did all those things look like?
I mean, to me, I had always run my own business as a drummer. That was, but I had no pretense really. My pretense, if anything, was I want to follow my moral compass, follow my moral code. And that was always to make sure that everyone around us felt safe, that we could build a business that really prioritized the people like that worked for us, but also the people that were customers, that we worked to have a healthy work-life balance.
Yep.
And, for me, I guess it just was so simple. I didn't overthink it. It's in a moment, is this right or wrong? Does this feel right or wrong? And I trust that moral compass the whole time. And I love people. I want to see people living their most authentic and best life. And I guess that I never saw myself as this like CEO.
Yeah.
I've always this mentality that, every single person you ever meet just wants a bottle, a good cry, and a nap.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We're still babies. And it's just the bottle might change as you get older, but that's what we all want. And it's like there's so many people that the more they try, the nicer the cars, the nicer they dress, they're trying to hide that. They're trying to put a facade over the fact that we all are just this, we're doing our best and making it up as we go all the damn time. And so I never wanted to be seen as that. I wanted to make everyone comfortable to be in a space and create together. I'm not creating this for me. I'm creating this for us.
Yep.
And I am just as inspired every day by our customers, by our community online of people who want to also be part of something bigger than they can be alone. Because it's the same with me. I just wanted to build the platform where it could happen, and people will do it. I've seen it. We're watching it happen. People want to be a part of something. It's just scary to start it.
Yeah.
But I'm a college dropout. Like, I don't have a business degree. I know how to, I've coined this phrase, this term, facilipate. I can facilitate and manipulate. If I can facilitate my brain with a problem, I can use my ADHD and my dopamine to manipulate the dopamine into solving it. And my brain's going to chase a squirrel either way. I might as well give it the squirrels.
Yeah. I can direct it to which squirrel I want it to chase.
And so that's really, I just saw the 10,000 foot view of what the company could be. I then went to each decision. Does it lead us there?
Yep.
Does it lead us to becoming a voice that could lead us into the future as a society, as a business that is who people look to as far as a model for how to build businesses? And that's why right now is such a vital and important time, is that we are literally living in a moment in history where it's impossible to lose the bet on being on the right side of history.
Yeah.
You literally,
the line's pretty clear.
It's so clear. And that's the thing, is we can look in history and know that. If this was a casino, I would put my life savings on this bet.
Yep.
And as a business, that's why we don't shy away from associating with people that are hard on the left and being like, no, these are our people, because we know that at the end of the day, all these moderates, all these MAGAs, all this is the dustbin of history. We are moving forward. We are moving into a better world, a more sustainable world, a more accepting world, a more equitable world. We are going there. They are going to do their death rattle, and it's going to be annoying, and it's going to be loud.
It's going to be rough.
It's going to suck. But here's the thing, is on the other side of that, and I'm already seeing it, and this is what gives me hope, is that we started speaking out in March, okay? And we always spoke out, but like about the current regime, we started really leaning into like making fun of it and whatnot. And I'll tell you what, I have seen since then, businesses start to do it or reach out to me and be like, I'm really thinking about it. I have to do it. And they're starting to use their voice and they're starting to speak up. And I'm like, you know what? If this can start that change, then what can we do once we get to the other side of this? What precedents can we set as a business that people can say, oh, I want to build a business like my Cluck Hut. I want to build a business that the more, I call it our orbit of good. And as the orbit grows, as new people like you and people come into our orbit, businesses that we work with that are like-minded in ideology, that orbit grows. And then because it grows, the gravitational pull grows. Mm-hmm. And as that gravitational pull grows, more businesses, more people get sucked into it. And what all of a sudden starts happening is what's happening now, where, we actually have a voice in this wild world out here. And as someone who detests bullies and will never back down, it's awesome to see that inspiring others to do the same. And then being inspired myself by people like you, by people, like Jolly, watching USMC, Angry Vet, Matt, people like that are out there just doing the shit. And, all these amazing influencers and people out there that are doing it. I think that is what we all need. We need more of that orbit growing, and it's happening.
Yeah.
The other side of this thing, I just have to keep remembering the pendulum. Yeah. The further it swings one way, the further it's going to swing back. And we just got to remember, as it's swinging back, the hardest thing I think for people on the left is that because we're problem solvers, because we're thinkers, because we want to grow, we end up meeting each other. And we're all, because we're creatives, a lot of us, we're very insecure about shit. And so we end up arguing amongst ourselves. Yep. We end up fighting amongst ourselves. And we end up tearing down anything we could be building because of semantics. And it really a lot of times is semantics, because a lot of times we're trying to say the same thing. Yeah. We're trying to get to the same place. But then, we have a couple people in our comment section that if we ever mention, us being like radical leftists and even if we're doing that tongue in cheek, because we are leftists, but using his terms of radicals and terrorists and stuff, like, oh, I guess we'll see. And it's like, what is that? What are you doing? What do you mean? What are you helping?
Like, what does that mean?
We'll see if you are. Like, no, so if we can just unite on the left with a common goal of really building this better world, I think that to me is the greatest goal. You asked me, like, where I saw this and how I envisioned it, it was to create the world I wanted to live in.
Yep.
That's it. Create the reality I wanted to live in, and knowing that I have the ability, I have the privilege. The white privilege also comes with responsibility, and this is the responsibility I feel is to be as loud as possible in the face of hate, of bullies, but along with that, I just want people to know that they matter. I mean, all of our soaps, everything says you cluck and matter on top. It's because that's the one thing that I feel like in an unfettered capitalist society is we matter the least. We are a customer. We are the product.
We are cog in the machine.
Sold constantly everywhere we turn. How often do you see us talk about our products in our videos? Right.
Never.
Right. And still people buy them and then they find out how great they are and they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. But because I hate being sold to, I don't believe in doing pressure sales. I don't even want to sell because I constantly feel it too. And it's overwhelming. Everywhere I look, I feel like I know you're trying to sell me something. I know you're trying to sell me something. I am a good to be bought and sold, and we all are. And so let's try to change that. I don't know, create a safe space for that too.
Yeah, and it's amazing to me. I think one of the things you were talking about, how like the infighting on the left, which is so prevalent, and I think that part of that is also fear, because I feel the same way that you do. That especially as a white woman with no children, I feel personally obligated to take a frontline position, and I feel obligated to be loud because there are other people groups who cannot do that as safely as I can do that. Right. And so, people can't choose to like turn off being Black or Latino or being an immigrant. I don't get to, when it gets uncomfortable, take my ball and go home, because that's what white privilege is. But for me, I think a lot of times what I notice with people on the left is that and this is coming from being a former ultra conservative and now being, they would call me the radical left, like happily.
Antifa.
But it's like Antifa. It's a hell of a confession when you say that anti-fascists are like a problem for your regime.
Just because you put anti in there doesn't mean that you're okay.
It's like, okay, whatever. But I think one of the things I notice is people, I think especially young people, which it's changing. I've very much noticed it changing, especially after Zoran's campaign. But young people feel disenfranchised. They feel like there's no hope. They feel like nothing they do is going to matter. So what they do is they kind of pick and fight and find excuses to not support you or not support this cause or not support this movement, because then it excuses them from having to do anything. Because, you're not perfect.
Right.
So this is my litmus test for you. And since you didn't match my perfect thing as I'm cheering from the couch because I'm not doing any of these things, it now gives me an excuse to sit out of the game.
Yeah. And I mean, that's an easier route than taking it on, for sure.
Because it is scary. It is scary.
I think they've been trained too by this system that we couldn't beat. I mean, we still got the freaking baby boomers running shit in there.
Yep.
They're like, well, they couldn't do it, and then the millennials couldn't do it. They're like, well, what the fuck's the point?
Like, exactly. I do, and I totally am not at all. I understand the discouragement and the hopelessness. I think it would be irrational if you didn't feel that way to some degree. But I think that they're not catching themselves. But one of the things, that was the biggest thing for me with Zoran's campaign. The most important thing about his win was the hope.
Yeah.
Was people could see, we can outwork big money because big money's lazy. They're used to being able to throw money at the problem.
That's it.
And same with Zoran, James Tallarico, like the governors, like just all of these seats that flipped.
Right.
Is people needed to see the hope, like, I can get out and I can knock on doors and it makes a difference.
Yep.
I think that was the biggest win from that day, from last Tuesday, was just helping people realize, even myself, I needed the reminder that we can outwork them.
Right.
Because I was feeling, as much as I try to do, was feeling like, this is not, what's the fucking point? Like, I just need to find, like, I'm going to call some of my friends in Europe and be like, listen, I'll sign a prenup, but I need you to marry me so that I can get a visa.
But what you just said is full circle back to why I started the company.
Yep.
That's full circle back to having that hope, seeing the hope, and being able to say, you know what, I'm a part of that. It makes me want to be a part of that. I wanted to feel it too. I wanted to start a business that people could feel like, hey, I want to be a part of that. I want to help build this together, like a band. Like I want to build something bigger than myself. That's what it is. And that's why those things, that's so exciting. Like Zoran's, that was amazing to watch, especially to watch how angry the opposition got. It was just like, oh,
brought me so much joy,
buddy, you poor things. And just at first though, they couldn't decide. It was funny at first. It was like they were like, it's a sad day, and I'm like, oh, you're going is sad. I did not see that one coming. Yeah. And they turn around and oh no, that was anger again. Okay, cool.
I was like, I was worried. Like what's going on? And I will say one of the things you do so well, and I've told you this after I think the second video that we shot, because I was having a day that day, and you have this incredible way of like you're doing business with this sense of play that is very infectious. Because when I come to a video, I walk out being like, okay, I can keep going. Like I can do this. And what I've realized, the more digital my life gets, the more I want that human connection, the more I want to know who my people are, who my community is. And as I've gotten older too, I grew up with, the demonization of education and science deniers, climate change deniers. So I really didn't learn anything about that really until the last like 6 or 7 years where I started to actually read science. So for me, really trying to be more diligent about buying used and making sustainable choices in and of myself. So to be able to know, okay, I have this list of businesses that I know treat every single human with dignity. And I know that if I'm buying their product, I'm working towards a better planet, then that feels good too.
Right.
It feels like I'm contributing to building a better system. Because I also, and I posted this on a video today where I'm not doing corporate Christmas this year. I'm just flat out not.
Yeah.
I will get like small things, like I'm going to go to thrift stores, small businesses like yours for like, but I told my family, like, I'm not getting big presents. I'm not doing any of this. I'm going to focus on how do I volunteer this year? How do I do food drives? How do I support local businesses? And like, hopefully my dream for the winter, for December, is to be able to host like an adult like Christmas dance.
Cool.
Where people can come together and just have fun.
Cool. Yeah.
Like just have fun. And like, there'll be drinks and stuff, but it's not about the bar. It's about how do we get together and know that we've got each other's backs.
Right.
I just got back from Detroit, being on a podcast up there. And if you haven't listened to it yet, it's Breaking It Down with Caitlin and Ty Balteria. Amazing episode. But while I was there and I was talking to locals and I was visiting things for my other podcast, Highway to Hell, I ended up talking to some locals who were talking about there's this movement called New Era Detroit. And it's a group of Black men who are like patrolling like school areas at night, like when kids are getting out of after school programs, and they're like saying hi, high-fiving the kids, how's school going? Like making sure all these kids get home safe. But this organization has also fed millions of people while they're riding the bus, like coming in and making sure if anybody's hungry on the bus that they get food, and they're doing food drives and they're doing education. And it's just this grassroots network of like these men just showing up and saying, this is our neighborhood. This is our city. We're going to do something about it. And also really educating. I'm hoping to get in touch with the guy who I think is the leader of it, Zeke. And he does a lot of educating around the difference between Black power and white power. And this is why we take this stance. And this is why we're trying to protect our neighborhoods. And I was just in awe. I was creeping on their page for about an hour because I was like, man, what a good reminder that we can make a difference. The machine that we've been built in kind of this end stage capitalism where, again, the wealthy control so much of the economy. It doesn't even make sense. Like the top 10% control 67%.
67%, yeah.
It's crazy.
90%
Since
of
you
us
said
that sentence, it's probably at 69.
Right, exactly. And like the rest of us, like that's 90% of us control less than 40% of the economy.
Yeah, that's why you need shitty business owners like me who, coming up for Black Friday through Cyber Monday, are asking our customers not to shop with us. We are literally asking our. I know every business owner ever in business school would say that's bad business. You know what? No, fuck that. I'm asking our customers not to. Please don't shop with us through that Black Friday weekend.
Black it out.
We'll do a sale next week or something, but let's show them. Even though we're a small business, but well, we want to support small business, but you know what? Because we work with third-party applications and stuff in our website, big business still makes money.
Yep.
Shopify still makes money. All these people. So let's black it out together. And I think that's the commonality, that if we can remember that how effective we are. That election should have shown us how effective
Jimmy
we
Kimmel.
are. Dude, that's what I'm talking about.
Right? Where that money talks. And I think the way that the greatest enemy to a fascist regime is organized labor. So I think it's going to come down to labor strikes and money strikes. And I would encourage anyone listening, if you're really just like, I don't know what to do, do not shop on Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
No.
Don't spend a dime. Hang out with your family.
Yep.
Do movie marathons. Have fun. If you live somewhere snowy, play outside. Like, do not spend a dime because our money talks. And if we organize our money and our labor and we say, no, I'm not, we only lose democracy and we only continue to like perpetuate this system if we buy in.
Yeah. One of the reasons as a business that, I like not having venture capital, not having someone to answer to is we go out of our way that even the businesses that we buy our raw materials from, that I go out of the way to research them. And I want to find out what they're doing, not just sustainability, but as far as their integrity for diversity and, being people-centric. I want to make sure that we're then building a domino effect of we're supporting them and they're supporting so-and-so. And so it's not just, it's sustainable, it's eco-friendly, but then supporting those businesses. I think we've gotten down, as a small business, Amazon is a great resource. We are down to, there's one raw material that we can't find anywhere else that we have to get through Amazon. One.
That's incredible.
One. And to me, like, I would like that one to be gone. Like, I would love to. I'd be fine. When we first got started, somebody recommended, like about 2 years in, that we put our stuff on Amazon and sell on there. It's like, okay, we'll try it out. And then the more I thought about it, I ended up pulling all of our stuff off Amazon. I was like, I don't want to be a part of that.
That doesn't feel good.
And so, it's little things like this, like our no mosquito grease and our elbow grease, which are sensory friendly, bug repellent, and
really
moisturizer.
effective because I've used them for paddle boarding.
So good.
So
But
good.
the little tamper seal that goes around it is plant-based plastic. It's 15 cents more than the regular plastic tamper seals. And if you have an investor, if you have a venture capitalist, they go, no, go with the cheaper one. And I get to go, no, fuck that. Let's go with the plant-based ones. It's a small thing.
Yeah.
But then the grip band around them is a bracelet when you're done. So it's just like little stuff like that adds up to big stuff. And if we can inspire other businesses to start making those small changes, those are the drops in the bucket that become the fucking flood.
Yep.
We are the flood. We just got to not let them tear us apart, which is, they're scared right now. They are scared because they like the fascist MAGA regime, the behind the scenes billionaires, the ones that are really pulling these strings, they're scared because they know how powerful we are. The last thing they want us to realize is how powerful we are. Yep. And the first thing we're trying to do as a business is remind people how fucking powerful they are.
That it makes and I think getting people to understand that those small decisions matter is so important because, and like, I love what James Tallarico said, where he was like, listen, he's like, yes, you should be mad at people taking advantage of the system. You're mad at the wrong 1%.
Yep.
Because the biggest welfare queens in this country are billionaires and corporations who get all of your tax money and then turn around, buy a bunch of AI, fire their employees, or don't pay them a livable wage.
And they have trained us so well that you just said billionaires and corporations and then used who?
Who?
You used who? They have taught us to say who after a corporation. It's not a who.
Yep.
What are we doing? It's not a person.
Yeah.
And we have been trained to just be a cog in this system.
Yep.
And it's like deconstructing from religion, deconstructing from capitalism, and be like, well, but you're a capitalist, you own a business. And yeah, well, here's the thing. You have to build in the system you're in. It doesn't mean I'd love to do it a different way, but this is the system we're in and we have to choose our battles. And my battle is a planet that is habitable. It is people that are not committing suicide because they're able to live their authentic best life.
Yep.
Little things like that, I'll work within this system. And I think one of the things, which rest in peace, Ben and Jerry's, fuck Unilever, that, they said, and it was a podcast a few years back. I heard him talking about it. Ben was talking about it. And it was that capitalism is a three-front assault. But the problem is, as a society, we have leaned onto the financial. There's financial capitalism, environmental capitalism, and human capitalism. And not to be used, but to be served. Yep. And I want to balance that. And the financial, whatever, that will come. But to really lean into supporting the human capitalist part, the environmental capitalist part, making sure that we're giving back and supporting that. Otherwise, the ship tips.
Yep.
And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing it tip, and it's not sustainable. It's absolutely not. It's impossibly unsustainable.
Any unbridled system is destructive. Mm-hmm. Like, there has to be guardrails. And one of the things I think about, like, coming from Christian nationalism and this idea of what they call dominion theology, which you've probably heard, and like comes from Genesis, where God commands humans to fill and subdue the earth.
Yeah.
But it's a call to stewardship.
Right.
It's not inhabit the earth, rake it for all it's worth, and burn it down. It's, yes, if you're going to rule, you have to be a steward of this. Like, if you're a steward with little, you can be a steward with much. And I think that that's where the scales have tipped. Any form of government in its extreme, without any guardrails, is going to be destructive.
And then using the very people that subscribe to that belief system as your support to do the thing that is counterintuitive to the belief system.
Yep.
Wait, what? No.
It's just an amazing rebrand.
And I always it blows my mind that so many people that are on the right, that live in rural communities, and they're hunters and they're fishermen, are not just livid at the destruction of the environment. I'm like, this is where
what
you
rely
go.
on.
Yeah, you go for your sanity. And so I never understood that. But I guess the thing that's the most depressing is really starting to understand what lack of empathy looks like. And you were talking about earlier how people are coming out of it, but it's because something finally affected them.
Yep.
And that's the most unfortunate thing. I think the most disheartening thing as an empath who feels I have no kids, and my wife and I have a wonderful relationship. And I was crying at the beginning of the pandemic because I knew people were at home in abusive relationships. That's the kind of empathy that just you aren't taught. You just feel.
Yeah.
And to me, it really is disheartening. And I where I need to find hope every day is in the fact that people are able to look at something as horrifying as Gaza and horrifying as our freaking regime just trying to use food as a weapon to starve people, and being okay with it, and watching ICE tackle children and zip tie them, and grandmothers, and rip families apart, and
shoot a pastor in the head.
And they
because
have
he was praying with a group,
because it hasn't happened to them. They don't have an emotion about it, or they do have an emotion, and it's the sickest one of all. It's joy.
Yeah.
Who? What?
Yeah.
That to me, that's where I honestly, where we were talking about earlier, I had to give up hope to create hope. Because to rely on someone like that, I hope that they come along. I hope that they find themselves and they find empathy. I hope they find it. But I'm done waiting on it, and I'm done expecting, and I'm done hoping for it. If it happens, great. I am going to go over here, and I'm going to do what I can in my corner with my people, and I'm going to build this community over here.
Yeah.
Because it is destructive to my very core to watch it, and to watch people just be how I can't shame somebody who doesn't have shame. If they're shameless, you can't shame them.
Yeah. And also it's like you can't teach somebody empathy. Like it's almost like it was beaten out of them or something, that it just doesn't exist. And I'm noticing this with people from back home, that until what happened with soybean farmers losing access to sell to Chinese markets, and then that getting basically punted over to Argentina. We bail out Argentina. Now we're talking about importing Argentinian beef. And I grew up with all ranchers.
Yep.
But also that in conjunction with the hospitals in the rural areas I grew up in are closing. My niece just had a baby 2 weeks ago. The closest hospital with a maternity ward and a pediatric ward is 2.5 hours away.
Yep. There's a reason.
If something happens, they are fucked.
There is a reason that, Trump talked about pre-election about, you just have to vote this time. You won't have to vote again. Why Steve Bannon got up on that stage last week and talked about, if the Democrats win, a lot of people in this room are going to jail, including me. There's a reason they're trying to gerrymander all these districts. They know it's not the popular ideology. Their system is not popular. They know they're cheating so that they can remain in power.
Because it's the only way.
That's the only way. Otherwise, it's Nuremberg trials. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing I think we have to remember is everything that they do is like if you were sitting at a poker table and the person across from you is playing with their cards up. Yep. They show their hand at
every
all
time.
times.
Yep.
And if we can stop looking at the hand they have and remembering how they play, we start focusing on the person playing the hand. I used to play poker. I have bluffed and beaten hands that weren't the nuts, but were bigger than mine.
Yep.
Because here's the thing is they are always going to show you they have very basic set of rules, and it is me, mine, and me again.
Yeah.
I, me, and mine. Yeah. It is about them. It is about what they can do for themselves. They're self-serving.
How they can enrich themselves.
Right. And they are also sad, angry, and unwhole people that are trying to lash out and cover up the fact that they are that child that needs a bottle and a nap, and they're just loud about it because the second you see through it, you see what they see in the mirror. And they hate that thing they see in the mirror. Yeah. So that's why I treat our social media the way I do. I treat our company the way I do, is to remind people that what they're doing, why they poke, why they prod, what they're trying to do, why they're trying to use chaos and they're trying to overwhelm, is they want you angry. It's Darvo. It is basic freaking toxic abuser shit. And we have to start realizing that when they show that hand, it's what they need.
Yep.
And we get to choose whether we give it to them. The second we start feeding them, they get bigger. The second we start starving them, they go away. They starve. Yeah. They get loud. They're going to get loud. But you know what? Let them get loud. That's when they're getting loud is them again showing their hand. They're showing you because they're that mad that you're winning. Yep. The louder they get, the more you're winning. And the louder they get without you retaliating or responding in fear and anger, but responding with seeing them as they are, letting them know you see them as they are, which is hard to say because people want to say, they want to come back at that with, well, but they're doing these horrible things to people. So yeah, they are doing those horrible things. I know that. That is fucking infuriating. Why are they doing it?
Yep.
Why are they doing it? And why they're doing it should tell you everything about the person you're dealing with and then how to deal with a person like that. And you don't deal with a person like that by coming down to their level.
Yep.
You get down with them, misery loves company, that's where they want you.
Yep.
Well, I won't do it.
And then you're in the crazy making cycle.
That's it. Yep. And then you know what they do? They do it every single time. They get you to freak, they get you to flip, and then they go, oh, whoa, emotional much?
Oh, you're so violent.
The switch.
Yep. Bait and switch.
And all of a sudden, wait, what just happened?
Yeah.
So I won't do it. I won't allow them to bring me there because that's where they need me. And let's bring it up. Let's just fucking talk about it. After Charlie Kirk was murdered, that is exactly what I saw. It was people that have feigning empathy, feigning sympathy, showing something that I know this is gaslighting because there's been how many school shootings even that same day.
Yeah. And you don't give two shits.
Not one.
And not even you don't give two shits, you mock it.
They mock it. And so and then to get so you saw how angry they were. Well, it's a revolution. It's a civil war now. And all the Democrats are going to die. All the liberals. And I was like, okay, well, that's over the top. That's not how you respond to a horrible thing. Yep. That's not it. They showed us their hand again. And we knew they're gaslighting. They know they're gaslighting. But at the end of the day, you're not going to change. You're not going to change them by responding with anger to their anger.
Yep.
That was a show. That was the pearl clutching. That was an exhibit.
Yep. It was just a performance.
That's
it.
Because
then they host his funeral, quotation marks, the WWE performance, where like his family wasn't invited.
I didn't know that.
None of his family was there.
Oh,
and
God.
Erica comes out and fake cries, all in white.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on? And again, all of these people that I'm like, we even see it now with like SNAP benefits online, mocking and ridiculing, laughing at families who can't eat.
Yeah.
You're telling me I'm supposed to be sympathetic? And then
so that's evil.
The next day they called in like 6 different bomb threats to HBCUs that had nothing to do with Charlie Kirk. They're just racist pieces of shit that wanted to call in to a black college.
Yep.
And then like the DNC headquarters, and then people like me who just I wasn't tap dancing about it.
Nobody
also wasn't
was.
sad. I was like, I'm indifferent to this. I don't like that it happened this way.
Yeah.
I'm sad I live in a country where this is happening right now. But I also understand that just because you're dead doesn't make you a good person.
Right. It was the projection for me. It was the projection that...
And I got doxxed and had to leave my apartment for a few days because someone put me on a list of Charlie Kirk's killers. And I was like, dude, I've responded to one of his videos one time. But you're a murderer. Excuse me? Disrespectfully.
Here's the thing.
Sit down.
Projecting.
Yep.
That is them. That is honestly... They did that because they know how they react when it happens.
Yep.
Because they expect everyone else to react like they do.
Yep.
So they projected on that everyone else was just as horrible as they are when a school shooting happens. When George Floyd was murdered, they think everyone else is going to be that horrible person. We're over here like, yo, hey, I don't care. Listen, this shouldn't have happened that way. Yes, but what is this? What are you doing right now?
Yeah.
What is this? We're going to kill
Like,
all of you.
I'm not over here like
hold.
like what is going on? Yeah.
And
it really is a projection because
that's it.
Because they know how they acted.
They know how they would react. And they know how they feel.
And they've proven, like, again, George Floyd, school shootings, SNAP benefits, they have proven repeatedly how they react.
But there's a reason that every time we go, I don't like this thing about Trump, they go, well, what about Biden? What about Trump? What about Obama? I mean, okay, yeah. Well, Clinton might be in those Epstein files. He's a pedophile.
If he is, lock him up.
Lock his ass up. If my dad isn't there, lock his ass up.
Yeah,
I would drive him to the jail. I'm just saying, guys, stop.
Yeah.
Stop with the projection. It is getting to it. I don't know. I don't know how to get out of it. It's just, I feel like it's just in this cycle where it's like, I can't explain to them.
I really thought the Epstein files was going to be the moment where like people really fractured. Because what hurdle can you, like, obviously it's so clear Trump's on the list. Obviously, we already knew that. But like his Department of Justice has said he's on it. His FBI has said he's on it. And I'm like, how do you... I don't do you ever stretch wonder before those intellectual gymnastics? Because you're now justifying pedophilia. And today, so overnight, as the Dems made this deal and caved and decided to lick the boot, because also fuck establishment Democrats, sincerely.
Say it again.
Fuck establishment Democrats. But overnight, Trump pardoned 70 close associates who were part of the January 6th insurrection, including Rudy Giuliani. Pardoned him, and it was also released that Ghislaine Maxwell is being waited on hand and foot.
Of course she is.
At her minimum security prison in Texas,
of course she is.
And she's getting an opportunity to apply for a commuted sentence.
Okay, so here's the thing: is what they do is this. Their enemy is what? Oh, it's trans people. Okay, what are trans people? Oh, well, they're all what? Pedophiles. Oh, they are. That's a weird thing to call them. They're all pedophiles. Could you be projecting that? I feel like maybe.
It's a projection.
I feel like every time I get in our comment section and there is somebody in there saying, I bet she pegs him. I had to look that up the first time. I didn't even know what the fuck a peg was. I looked it up. Like, holy.
It's like, ooh, is this your porn genre?
Shit. So here's the thing is they are the things that they say in there is why I bet you watch your boyfriend plow your wife or something. It's like you're telling us. They're telling us what they're okay with
and
what they fantasize about. That's why that trans people have to be a pedophile. They have to be because they know that that's a thing that their
group is really
they're shoving down and it's there. Anyway, so I don't know. We just have to keep remembering that they are showing their hand. What they say every every accusation is an admission.
Yep.
And never forget that. Do not let that go. They know it. We know it. They're going to try to make us feel like we're taking crazy pills.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's not. I know that they're trying to bring us down to their level. No matter what, it is that poke, and projection. Do we take the bait or not?
Yep.
I think we build a world where we let them cry. We let them throw their fits.
Laugh at it and be like, oh my God, you're so pathetic.
It's sorry, bud. What happened?
You're like, oh, buddy, big feelings.
And I feel bad. Like, that's the thing is, even as a kid, I got bullied. And I was a big kid. I was 6'2" at 12. But I got bullied. And even then, I remember, I never fought back. I remember feeling badly for them. I remember thinking to myself, I wonder what happened to them at home. Thinking to myself, you learn that.
Yeah.
To learn behavior. And so even as a kid, I felt that. And so as much as I detest all of these people, I still have that iota of a bit of empathy of like, what the happened?
Like, what is this?
This is not normal. What you're doing is not a normal thing.
Yeah.
Normal people don't do that. And you're telling me everything I need to know. I honestly want to help you. You don't want to help yourself. And until you do, we're going to go over here.
Yep.
We're going to.
And as we kind of wrap up today, in this space with it's really discouraging. It really is. And so from your perspective, how can people keep up hope and joy and the work at the same time?
The thing I remind my staff about, I try to remind our followers about is this. It sounds, I mean, it doesn't sound that prophetic or huge, but if we can remember that love wins in the end, and if love hasn't won, it's not the end. On a long enough timeline, it does win. It always wins. People are like, well, America's always been fascist. You know what? Yeah. Okay. Nazis did learn from Jim Crow. Yeah. There have been fascist elements to it, but there's always, the reason we are where we are 10 months ago, 12 months ago, is because of the people who fought to bring us there, the better angels who fought for equality, who fought for these things. Yeah, it wasn't perfect. We hadn't gotten there. We were working towards it. But those people haven't disappeared. I think that's where we need to remember that fascism in and of itself will always need an other to exist. It is a self-defeating ideology. It eats itself. Once that other is gone, it has a new other. It will eventually destroy. And then, like I said earlier, love and joy don't need opposition, hate and anger do. They need us more than we need them. So at the end of the day, if we can remember that love does win in the end, and we keep together, we keep unified, we keep building community, we keep building our orbit of good, there is no way in any fashion that ideology can win. They know it. That's why they're cheating. We know it. That's why we're waking up and creating the better world we want to live in.
And working
doing
the work and like doing it together.
That's it.
And
it doesn't
even
feel like
makes
work.
All the difference in the world.
It doesn't feel like work if you're doing it for yourself, for others, if you're really building together. That's why one of the reasons I never opened a brick and mortar was I knew that the second I put hours on a door, I wouldn't want to show up because, fuck me for telling me what to do.
Yeah.
Everything that we do with this business is because I'm inspired to do it because it's mission before money. And I want to work towards that better world, that better cause. Your virtue signaling is, you know what? Here's the thing. They virtue signal too. They just have shitty virtues.
Yep. You just have no character.
So fine. I'm virtue signaling. I want a better world. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, that's it. We win. We know we win. We have to stop letting them convince us that we don't win. And we have to support each other, love each other, and really, wash our asses because God bless America.
Because please wash your ass.
Please wash your ass.
Please wash your ass. And so for those of my followers who don't know where you're at, where can they find all of your social media?
So you can find us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. We have Blue Sky. We don't do much on there, and Threads at My Cluckout across platforms. And then get used to being called a mother clucker because once you get in there, you're one of us. And then mycluckout.com, and everything that we make is eco-friendly, sustainable, animal byproduct free, palm oil free, no plastic waste, etc., and all sensory friendly. So really, when it comes down to it, we have an awesome product. We just want to build this community of awesome mother cluckers that get it. And if you want to come follow us, we do have a good laugh. We also cry, but we also have a Give a Cluck program, which is actually something I wanted to share about that I love. Our Give a Cluck program is nonprofits that we work with. We have the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, Nashville Launchpad, groups like that you can buy a collaboration product we've done with them. And on our Give a Cluck page, 30% of the proceeds from everyone sold go back to that nonprofit. We're raising money right now for Pity and Pink, which is pet dogs bite fascists.
Yes.
But they are a local pit bull rescue, and they are putting a lot of focus right now into getting dogs that have been abandoned by ICE kidnappings and making sure that they don't they have a foster home so they don't get euthanized. And we're doing that collab with Forever Friends here in Nashville. So just across the board, wherever we can find ways to build that orbit and give back. I wasn't a rich kid. I was barely lower middle class kid. I never had money, but this is a way that we can give back. And we just raised about $1,500 for Second Harvest.
Yeah.
We just did that. We just raised for that. So I don't know. I want that to be our mantra at all times, is remembering that yes, our products are great, but what we're doing by supporting this mission, this ideology, is actually building a better world for all of us, me included, which is why the hustle is worth it every single day. Yeah. And we're going to fucking laugh. Yeah. We're going to cluck and laugh. I got to stay on brand.
Yeah.
We're going to laugh because you know what? If we didn't, like I said, we would cry and throw things. They don't get my joy.
Yeah. And remember to come to DC because as of the release of this, we will be at the Remove the Regime protest.
Dropkick Murphys are going to be there.
Dropkick's going to be there. Jolly Good Ginger.
Yeah.
I think Angry Veteran's going to be there too, right?
Cliff Cash will be there. Yeah. Angry Veteran will be there.
Yep. And I know Officer Wagon's going to be there. Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan will be there.
So come hang out with us. I mean, and I know that there's going to be a lot of content, a lot of live streams if you aren't able to come, but please support that. Also, Absolutely. You can go to the removetheregime.com.
Yep. And there's events Thursday through Saturday night. And I believe they're doing some stuff Sunday as well. But come be loud.
Come, because we've decided, again, we've been proven over and over that establishment Democrats are not going to do the job, so we're going to do it instead. And I hope that this episode and honestly why I wanted to do it was encouraging and gives you hope and helps you realize that you're not by yourself, that there's a community of people who are trying to create a better system. And also just a reminder to hang on to your joy and don't let them overwhelm you into paralysis. Don't let them steal your joy from you. Remember that it's about our communities, and we're seeing that so much more, I think, that we've seen in a long time. And as always, thank you for flipping some tables with me, and I will see you in DC, and I will see you next week.
Let's cluck and go. Love y'all.